I just, yes,
Oh, I didn't realize. No.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. All right, I could just talk about my other book. I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
That's okay. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Jeffrey. Sorry, I was jumping the gun. I was like, okay, let's go.
Look at my hair. I look like a maniac.
I'm sorry, Jeffrey.
That's okay. No, that's all right. I'm used to looking like a maniac.
Do you want to fix it real quick? And
No, it's okay. No, this is fine. This is okay. It's sticking up, but I like it kind of sticking up. It's all right, right?
Yeah, it looks great.
It's me. That's who I am. So, hey, everybody. So I'm here with the goddess of comedy. How fun is that?
Yeah. You know, you should share it. Oh, wait, we're on your phone. Otherwise, I would say, oh, I have my phone that has your fan page. We should share it to your audience at the same time.
How do we do that?
Get my phone. My phone's right there. Okay. And guys, you should all share this now, too, while you're tuning in. And just, support me and Jeffrey right now by sharing, because sharing is caring. And I actually helped Jeffrey start.
Jeffrey Gurian.
Jeffrey Gurian.
So they know who it is, right?
I helped you start your Facebook page, which is Comedy Matters TV.
Exactly. And Lauren and I have a very long history. I had the honor of creating her very first YouTube video. Now she's got millions of followers. I think over 1 billion views on her videos.
Yes.
But I created her very first YouTube video. It was a hot Latina named Besame Mucho.
Yes.
Who ran a kissing school for girls because she was the best kisser in the world. And she had girls doing tongue exercises.
You created these exercises.
Yeah, I created the exercises, like push-ups on your tongue to strengthen your tongue, which everyone knows works. And, it was a great film. And then, a few years later, we did a bunch of films, Transform and all.
Yeah.
And then we did a film where she was Besame Mucho again. She was voted by the United Nations as the hottest girl in the world, which was an amazing accomplishment. And she was in my very first YouTube video. I have my YouTube channel is Comedy Matters TV, and it's got more than 2.25 million views. Everybody from Jimmy Fallon on down is on there. Amy Schumer and Amy Poehler, and even women not named Amy are on there. It's like Jim Carrey and Kevin Hart and D.L. Hughley and every big star. Hassan Minaj. I always call him Hassan Minaj. He's a very dear friend. And when I was with him recently at City Center, where he sold out, did
he give you a free ticket?
Yes, of course. And he pronounced his name Hassan Minaj. And I always call him Hassan Minaj. Nick Kroll and John Mulaney, my dear friends, they're all on my channel. So if you like those guys, I'm the first guy to be pranked with too much tuna.
Oh,
if you know too much tuna.
Was it good? Because I remember watching it. Was it yummy, the tuna? Can we talk about that?
It was amazing. The tuna sandwich was about this big, and it was on Comedy Central. I'm the very first, and it went viral. It's got well over 1 million views, 1.1 something. And Nick Kroll and John Mulaney had me open their Broadway show for them, the Oh Hello show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they made me a jacket. You know what? Talk to them for a minute. I'm going to show you this jacket that they made for me.
But what I really care about right now is healing your heart by changing your mind. We've all heard about Jeffrey's comedy, but we have yet to hear about his spirituality. He is also a doctor, and he's a very spiritual man. So I really want to know about this, but wow, look at this, Gary. Look at this. Look how cool this is.
So Nick Kroll and John Mulaney made me a jacket. But I just want to show you this because it's amazing. There's a guy in New York, and his name is Curtis Sliwa, and he created the Guardian Angels of crime fighters, and they ride the subways, and they stop crime, and they wear red jackets that say Guardian Angels. And Nick Kroll and John Mulaney made me this jacket that says Guardian Angels, and it's an exact replica of the Guardian Angels jacket. And they didn't know that Curtis Sliwa was a good friend of mine, so when the show opened on Broadway, as a surprise, I brought Curtis. Did it freeze up? Oh,
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, as a surprise, I brought Curtis Sliwa to the show, and he wore his Guardian Angels jacket, and I wore my Guardian Angels jacket. I think we're freezing. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just your phone, maybe. Because remember you said your phone was freezing?
Oh, lately. Oh, once in a while. Okay, so let's see what happens.
Should we need to start over again, maybe? I don't know. Guys, what do you think?
I can't see if anybody. Let's see.
Guys, are we frozen on your end or just ours? Are we still frozen?
I can't tell. Now I don't know what to do. If you touch it, does that work? Or will I disconnect it?
I think, I don't know. Maybe I just have to disconnect it. It's so weird. Why is it frozen?
Maybe I should close some pages?
Maybe.
Well, let me see if I do this. There.
Okay, maybe. Maybe it's just frozen. Is it still? Maybe it's just frozen on that end. Oh, there we go. Look, you fixed
Oh,
it,
look.
Jeffrey.
Okay, cool. Hey, I
Look at
fixed
that
it without even
magic.
knowing how.
I don't know.
So this is amazing that we're back.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Sorry for that. That's technology. So anyway, as Lauren was saying, it was so kind of her. I'm one of the only doctors with a long-standing career in comedy, and I spent 20 years on the board of the Association for Spirituality and Psychotherapy. So I started writing books on happiness, because that's all everybody wants. You ask anybody in the whole world what they want, and all they want is happiness. That's why I love being in the comedy world, because what nicer thing can you do than to make people laugh, right?
Yes. Oh, thank
You
you
know?
so much, Glenn, for the stars. Thank you, Glenn.
That's
I
so nice.
appreciate you.
That's so great.
What is that about? Fight the fear.
Okay, so I wrote 3 books on happiness. One, 2, oh, we froze again. One I wrote after I recovered from COVID double pneumonia, and my first book was called. Is it on or no?
It's still
I can't
on,
tell.
but we're just a little
Look
bit
on your
frozen.
phone.
Okay.
Yeah. See what happens on your phone.
Let's see.
It's showing the book,
It is showing the book.
but no one is telling us if it's frozen on their
Let's see.
end.
Oh wait, maybe
Is it-
it's.
It must be. Maybe it's just my phone because it's. I guess there's a delay. 'Cause
There's a
that's me
delay.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So this is my first book on happiness,
Yeah.
and it's called Healing Your Heart by Changing Your Mind.
There we go. For
Oh,
some
okay.
reason, if you move it around, it starts working.
Yeah.
again.
All right. Good.
All right, guys.
So this is the book with the meditating dog, a dog in lotus position, which is not an easy thing to get to do. To get a dog to sit in lotus position on an orange pillow. But what this book is about, the concept is that from the time we're children, we internalize pain. Every time someone hurts you in some way, lies to you, breaks a promise to you, insults you, if you were ever bullied, all those things stay inside of you. Even though you don't want to believe the nasty things that some people say to us, on some level, they stay lodged in your heart chakra. And they affect every decision you make because they give you negative thoughts about yourself.
So how do you get rid of that?
Well, it's a process. It's not a one-sentence answer. Oh, look at that. It's a process. Yeah. It's so frustrating.
It is a process.
Oh, we got 100 stars?
Yeah.
That's so nice. It's a process of understanding what thoughts you're holding that may not be valid for you. In my own life, I'll give you an example. I think I said I spent 20 years on the board of the Association for Spirituality and Psychotherapy. So my work has been accepted by classical psychotherapists, and I get to lecture at energy psychology conferences and things like that, and a lot of online conferences talking about happiness. And in my own life, I stuttered very badly. I started stuttering when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I stuttered through my 20s and beyond. Even after I was a doctor, I was still blocking on certain words. And I realized one day that I didn't stutter when I was alone. I only stuttered when I was trying to talk to somebody else. And I consider it grace. I figured out that there's really nothing wrong with me because you can't have a disability based on your location. If a man has a limp, he limps in every room of his house, right? He can't go into a room alone and walk perfectly. But if I can speak better when I was alone, then it meant there was nothing wrong with me, and it had to do with my thoughts. For some reason, I created a false disability for myself. And I had to work very hard. I worked for years to learn that I could change my thinking. So every one of you that's watching this are holding thoughts that are not valid for you. You're holding some kind of negative thinking, and that thinking holds us back.
Well, I need advice because that's something I always ask people in the spiritual world, and it's so funny because when I think of you, Jeffrey, I think of you as the comedian. I don't think of I know you're spiritual. When I first met him, he was like telling me my chakras. He was like telling me what color my aura was, and I'm like, who is this guy? But one problem I have is either when I really want something bad, like if it's a relationship or it's a job, it's an audition, it's a really big callback, I sabotage it.
Right, and that's what so many people do, because on some level, we don't feel that we deserve it. We push away success. At the last minute, we do something silly. I've been guilty of that in my in my own life as well. And what I found is this, that these negative thoughts can be very powerful. They're formed by your subconscious mind. You would never consciously think of this about yourself, but there's part of your mind that doesn't want you to succeed, and it's a really weird thought. And so in order for me to cure myself of stuttering, I was literally arguing with my own mind. My subconscious mind told me that I needed to stutter, that I needed to have a disability that was holding me back. Because first of all, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. And I couldn't be a stuttering doctor. People don't look at someone who's stuttering and say, what a calm, confident man, right? It's not a confident image to put out. So I knew I needed to cure myself. And no one was able to help me. I went to stuttering institutes and no one could help me. And so it's all about thought. And I had to examine my thoughts and realize what thoughts I was holding that were not valid for me. And that's what you need to do. It's not a one-night thing. It's not something that I could tell you to do right now. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to look at your thoughts. As I said,
in the audition room? So in the audition room with the casting director?
No, you have to do it before you get to the audition room. You have to tell yourself that you're meant to be a star.
Yeah.
You know, I use affirmations. One of the things that I created was a technique called star therapy. And star therapy is an acronym, STAR. It stands for Spiritual Transformational Affirmative Resonance Therapy. The resonance stands for music, because I use music when I do it. It's like a guided meditation. And recently, this is a great story. A few months ago, I got a message on my phone when I came home from a man who said he was calling me in reference to a letter I sent him 20 years ago. 20 years ago. It turns out he's a very famous musician named Stephen Halpern. He's considered the father of New Age music. And I was using his music to take away headaches from people with my hands, using just energy, because I'm a very big believer in that you can heal people with just using the energy from your hands. And I'm lecturing to the doctors at Temple University this summer on that technique.
So is that Reiki or is it different?
No, it's a combination of Reiki, Shiatsu, therapeutic touch, applied kinesiology, polarity. I studied many different systems of energy transfer, and I created my own, which I said is called star therapy. So now I have music by Stephen Halpern. He said he was so moved by my letter that he wanted to do a project with me, and he asked me to send him a guided meditation, and he put music to it. And if you Google it, if you put Stephen Halpern and Jeffrey Gurian, you'll get this.
I've got to listen to this. Is it a sleep meditation or?
Well, it's called Journey to Your Heart, and it's about 11 minutes long, and it's beautiful music with me guiding you through your heart to release the pains that you're holding on to. It would probably be good for you to listen to.
Yeah, well, you got to start a YouTube channel for meditation. I didn't know this.
I should. I really should. And so the concept here is that when you're holding negative thoughts, it affects your self-confidence and your self-esteem, and it affects every decision you make. Because every time you're called upon to make a decision, you think about what to do. You use your thoughts. And if your thoughts are faulty, your decisions are not going to work out for you. So it's the reason, we were saying this earlier, it's the reason that people have these patterns in their lives. The same bad job over and over again. The same bad relationship. You keep getting into relationships that don't work out, and the only common denominator is you. It's always you. So it has to be you have to have some part in it. Mm-hmm. And very often we draw the same people into our lives because of the energy that we're putting out.
So how do we change that? I need to stop doing that. That's my problem.
So it's a gradual thing, and we'll talk about that. But like I said, it's not when someone says, how do you do it?
Just reading this book?
Well, this book will help, and then I wrote my second happiness book, which is called Fight the Fear, Overcoming Obstacles That Stand in Your Way, because so many of us face fear, and fear is a bully, and fear tells you that you can't accomplish the things that you want to accomplish in your life. It tells you that you're not good enough, that you're not good looking enough, that you're not talented enough, just that you're not enough in some way. And on some level, unfortunately, we believe it. And so we sabotage ourselves. So in this book, I talk about all the fears that I had to face and overcome. You know, the fear of performing, the fear of becoming a doctor.
Were you scared to go on? Jeffrey goes on stage like almost every night and does stand-up comedy. Were you scared the first time you started doing it?
I was afraid to start because, you know what? If you go on stage in your 20s and nobody knows you, you have the freedom to bomb, which is how you get better in comedy. You go up and you say what you think is funny, and the audience laughs or they don't laugh, and you just keep doing it until you get better and better. But I had already written for very big stars. By the time I wanted to perform, I was nervous because people expected a lot of me. It's like having a very famous brother or sister, and it's a lot of pressure for you. So it kept me off the stage for many years. And then about 15 years ago, I had to work on my thinking, again, just like I write in this book. And I had to tell myself that if other people can do it, I can do it too. There's nothing about me that says that I can't do it. It's reverse egotism to think that you can't do something that millions of other people do. Like if you wanted to be the president or the pope where there's only one person, yeah, I could understand you doubting yourself. But if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a singer or an actor, and millions of other people do it, what right do you have to tell yourself that you can't do it? That's reverse egotism. If other people can do it, you can do it too. So I looked at all these guys on stage and I'm like, if they can do it, I have to be able to do it. And what I do is I challenge myself on a daily basis to do things that I find uncomfortable. So in 2019, just before the pandemic, I took my greatest challenge. I went to Japan all by myself. I went for 2 weeks. For some reason, I've always been fascinated by Japan, and I wanted to go. And 2 years in a row, a friend of mine copped out on me. He was supposed to go with me, and at the last minute, he couldn't go. And I kept taking Japanese level 1. I joined the Japan Society. I'm studying Japanese, and every time I was supposed to go, he doesn't go. And finally, I said, you know what? I'm going by myself. I don't let people hold me back anymore, you know? So it was the scariest thing for me because I have really bad ADHD. I get lost wherever I go. And Japan admits that they have the most complicated subway system in the world. So I'm not a good traveler. It's a 14-hour flight. I was the only non-Japanese person on the plane. So everyone fell asleep after 4 hours. I'm walking on the plane. I had nobody to talk to. It was horrible. And it was 14 hours. And then I got there and I got lost every single day. I was literally lost. You know, in New York City, I don't know how it is where you guys are, but when you get off the subway, it's relatively easy to find your way to the street. Not in Japan. On my first day there, I was locked underground for like an hour. I couldn't get out because it's not enough to know what stop. There are 18 to 20 different exits at each stop, and each exit takes you to a different part of the city. And don't believe it when they tell you everyone speaks English, because it's not true. They don't speak, only in the hotels. So I couldn't find how to get to the street. And I'm in this, and I was panicking, you know. And then finally I found a person who spoke enough English to guide me. But I went every day. I was there for 2 weeks. I went from Tokyo to Kyoto to Osaka. I used the Japanese that I knew, and I survived. I made it through 2 weeks. I performed in 2 comedy shows.
Wow.
I went to 2 spiritual meetings. I did everything that I was supposed to do. I met amazing people. A guy even came over to me. I was Patrice O'Neill's co-host on a show called The Black Phillip Show. And a guy in Japan, a Japanese kid, came over to me, and he said he was so excited that he was a fan of The Black Phillip Show, and he couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe I had a fan in Japan. I have one fan in Japan, which was like amazing to me. And I said, we have to take a picture together because no one will believe this, you know. But I challenge myself on a daily basis, which is what you have to do, because if you let fear rule your life, you'll never do anything. I would stay home with the covers over my head, and that's what fear wants you to do. So I have chapters on all the things that I had to overcome. When COVID came out, You know, as you can tell, I'm a trendsetter, so I went out and got it right away. I didn't want to wait. I got COVID immediately.
And thank God you're okay. Oh my God.
I was so lucky. I was in the hospital.
Lucky.
I had COVID, double pneumonia. Single pneumonia was not good enough for me. I had to get double pneumonia. And it was a nightmare. I joke about it now, but it was really horrible. And luckily they took me to a hospital where they gave me the right medications before it was politicized. And they saved me. You know, in New York City, we were the epicenter of the virus. And because I was so sick, it was a very scary thing. I was in isolation for a couple of days, and on my third day, they put me in a room with 3 other very sick men, all with the virus, sharing one small bathroom. To say it was a nightmare is an understatement. And I had to fight to stay very positive. I had to do what I write about in my books. I had to control my thoughts, because when you're in a negative state, your immune system does not function as well.
You got to talk to my dad.
And when you're in a positive state, you can heal better. Exactly. It's very important to stay positive. 6 years ago, I had a heart attack, what they call a widowmaker heart attack. I had never been sick a day in my life. It came out of nowhere. And when I was laying in the hospital, I was on the operating table. I was joking with the surgeon. I actually said to him, because I felt what they were doing. They were unplugging my heart.
Oh,
and
God.
I said to the guy, I feel you in my heart, not in a romantic way. I feel you in my heart. And the whole surgical team started to laugh. They couldn't believe that I'm on the operating table and I'm joking with the surgeon.
That's dangerous. Don't do that.
And the guy's like, I'll give you more anesthetic. And then he came to my room later that day and he hugged me and he goes, I want you to know you're a miracle. And I'm like, no, you're the miracle. You're the guy that saved me. But the point is that no matter what you're going through in life, you have to try your best to stay positive, because from a spiritual point of view, we all have a path, and sometimes that path becomes very difficult and very confusing, and you're like, why is this happening to me? And that was my thought, you know, when I first got there. Why me? Why does this happen to me? But the spiritual answer is, why not me? Because whoever promised you that your life is supposed to be perfect? You know?
Yeah.
Things happen. And, so things can happen to you as well. So again, you have to learn to control your thoughts, make a gratitude list, think of things that you're grateful for in your life, and realize that not every day is going to be perfect. So weird things are going to happen to you, things that you don't expect, but you have to try and stay in control. And that's a process. And if you read these books, you know, Healing Your Heart by Changing Your Mind was the first. Then Fight the Fear, Overcoming Obstacles That Stand in Your Way. And the newest one is called Facing Adversity, Stories of Courage and Inspiration. For the last 20 years, I've been cutting out stories from newspapers and magazines of people who I thought were very courageous, who overcame unbelievable difficulties to achieve happiness in their lives. And one of the most amazing stories to me was a little 3-year-old boy was playing hide and seek, and he hid behind a tractor on a farm, and the tractor was running, and he put his hands in, and it cut off his hands.
Oh my God.
And his father happened to be a surgeon, but he didn't do that kind of surgery. And they rushed him to the hospital, and it was a holiday, so there were no transplant surgeons. So the father had to do the surgery himself with a team of people that he assembled. He had never done that surgery before in his life, and he worked for 9 hours, and he reattached that little boy's hands, and he put them in casts. And after 2 months, they took off the casts, but his hands weren't functional. And his grandfather happened to be a martial arts expert, a master, and he trained him every day growing up. And today, that little boy, believe it or not, he's a famous spinal surgeon, and he's the head of surgery at a hospital in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
And a black belt in martial arts. But he's the head of surgery. Now, I've done surgery, and I know you have to have a very delicate touch. That story blows me away, especially for spinal surgery.
Wow.
He was going to be a hand surgeon because he was so grateful for his recovery.
Yeah.
And it's a miraculous story. And this book is filled with stories like that.
Wow.
Of people who are born with no limbs, a man with no limbs at all. And at 10 years old, he was thinking of committing suicide because he was bullied so badly. And he decided he couldn't hurt his parents that way. And today, he's an internationally known motivational speaker. He's married to a beautiful woman and has 4 children. And I've seen him on TV. And the singles bars are filled with tall, handsome guys with all their limbs, and this guy has a beautiful wife and 4 children. So it just shows you that if you stay positive, and that you can manifest amazing things in your life. Manifestation can be real. You know, there are a lot of people these days who are putting out like courses on that, and it's not an easy thing. But Wayne Dyer said it many years ago, if your intention is strong, if you come from your heart and your intention is strong, and you put that out to the universe, that you can draw in what you need in your life. So you have to be very careful, because people who are like cancer phobics very often come down with cancer, because the energy that you put out is what you draw in. So if you're drawing in the wrong people in your life,
The wrong men.
right, then you have to
Stop being
wonder,
men-phobic.
well, that there's something that you're putting out that is attractive to those kind of people, and you have to figure out what that is so that you eliminate that.
So how do I get rid of it? What if it's just my good looks? Do I have to be ugly?
No, because there's you know, that's the thing. That's what's confusing. It's very hard being an attractive woman. I understand that. Not that I'm an attractive woman, but I know enough of them. Many of them have a lot of problems. To the rest of the world, it seems like a great gift, but it also comes with potential problems, because people want you. Men like to possess things, and they look at beauty as a possession very often. And women have very strong power, and unfortunately our society tells them that they're too sensitive, which is exactly the wrong message, because sensitivity is a great strength, and it's important to learn to own that and not allow people into your life that don't respect that.
Yes, and if you are leaving nasty comments, I will block you. So my parents watch this. If my parents wouldn't like you to be saying these things, just know I will block you. Sorry, it was a good segue.
No, that's very important to know. People, you know, people think that they're anonymous on the internet. That's one of the horrible things about the internet, that people, you know, they use their anonymity to put their sickness out onto other people. And very important. I'm glad that you said that. People need to be blocked when they deserve it. You know, let them keep their sickness to themselves. Because the internet could be a wonderful place for mutual support. You know, see, I believe in making people stronger by supporting them. There's a lot of people that just want to take away your power. You know, and I think you're meeting men who do that. They want to take away, they're jealous of your power, because beautiful women have great power. And that's okay, that's a reality. People are always, since ancient times, people are always drawn to what they think is beautiful, you know, and it's not always easy. Beauty can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. So I think you're doing great, because look at you, you got 2 million followers on Facebook, so a lot of people love you, and 500,000 on Instagram, and you know, you're killing it, Lauren.
Making movies, which
You're
I
killing
love.
it.
Hopefully you're going to act in my
movies.
next one.
I would
really
love
hope
to be.
so.
Yeah, I would
I
definitely.
called you. I'm like, Jeffrey, can you come? When are you going to be in LA?
I haven't been in LA in too long. Well, because of the pandemic. I mean, nobody's been anywhere. It's almost 3 years. This summer I'll be at the Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal. It's the 40th anniversary.
Wow.
And I've been going for like 30 years, and I get to interview all the big comedy stars.
When is the
I'm on the
festival?
red carpet at the end of July.
Okay.
Yeah, it runs for a month. It's the biggest comedy festival in the world, and I have the honor of being there every year and getting to interview all the big stars. Everybody in comedy shows up, you know.
Yeah, I saw you there
at the Just for Laughs Awards
with the Too Much Tuna.
Well, yeah, with Nick Kroll and John Mulaney.
Yeah.
We actually did that show for the people at Just for Laughs, and I gave the big tuna sandwich to Judd Apatow, the king of Hollywood, who does every movie. He just did the HBO documentary, was HBO or Netflix, on George Carlin.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe it. I watched it in 2 nights, and it's terrible that I can't remember if it's HBO or Netflix. Maybe it's Netflix, I think. Judd Apatow was amazing, and it was the most in-depth interview. He did it with Mike Bonfiglio, who did the Patrice O'Neill documentary, and actually came here to look at my rare Patrice O'Neill footage. He sat with me here because I have some very rare footage. Patrice allowed me to bring my camera up to the studio when we used to do the show. He never used to do that with anybody, but he allowed me to do that. Well, it was very special. We had a very special relationship, and that's on my Patreon page. If you guys are up for supporting, it's patreon.com/comedymatterstv, and you'll see like a lot of rare footage with a lot of different comedians. But up at Just for Laughs, it's Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish and Hassan Minaj and Bill Burr and
Jeffrey Green.
Yeah, I'm always there. So if you're in Montreal watching this, come and say hi this summer. Lauren was there once you came up.
I was in the pitch competition. I submitted again, so I'm crossing fingers. I have a TV pilot that I've been shopping around, so I entered that into the pitch competition again. So
no, it'd be great if we were there at the same time. That would be so awesome.
It would be a party.
Yeah, last time it was great. It's the most amazing. Just picture like comedy camp. Every comedian that you love all together in one place, and then HBO does a party, and Comedy Central does a party, and Canadian Broadcasting does a party, and it's truly amazing. And now they tell us after an hour?
Well, they were saying it, but I was ignoring it.
From Lauren's phone. I don't know. I didn't realize that it could be contagious, like a phone virus.
A phone virus.
Enough with viruses already. I hope everyone out there is safe and well.
Yes, and where can they buy your book? Because we're going to shoot some other videos now.
All right, cool. So my books are all on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and you put in Jeffrey Gurian, Gurian, and try to spell Jeffrey the right way, Jeffrey, and Jeffrey Gurian. Yeah, are we frozen again?
No, I just was blocking someone.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hopefully it worked.
No, I'm glad that you do that. Like I said, people who are nasty on the internet need to be blocked. Keep your negative thoughts to yourself.
Yeah.
Because they're important only to you. No one cares what you think if you have negative thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's ridiculous. It's usually the people that have 1 or 2 followers that they feel so powerless that being anonymous gives them the right to put their sickness out on the internet. And it's a very ugly thing to do. If that's all you have to do is sit around and making negative comments about people, you know, check yourself out. That's all. It's just, I'm just glad that you block people like that. They don't deserve to be heard.
All right. So Jeffrey is also a dentist. Can I ask you a dental question?
Yes.
My mom had a question. Before we wrap this up, she'll be mad if she watches this later.
Okay.
So ever since she has been having to wear the masks, she said that her overbite, she has like more of an overbite now. Is that a thing for like why?
You mean a regular mask because of COVID?
Yeah, well, she said she didn't know if it had anything to do with that, like why this overbite just happened.
No, she might be doing some habit with her tongue and pushing her teeth forward. Because that people have, you know, from stress, people do oral habits that they're not aware of. The definition of a habit is that it's something that you do without thinking about it. There's no thought involved. So most dentists now, many dentists have noticed that people are cracking and breaking their teeth a lot because people are grinding their teeth more from the stress of what we've been living through for the past 2.5 years. And a lot of people get headaches. That was my specialty. I was a clinical professor at NYU for 12 years in oral medicine and orofacial pain. And one of the main symptoms of people clenching or grinding their teeth are headaches, neck pain, shoulder pain. If you wake up in the morning and your neck hurts, you might be grinding your teeth. And the problem is that if you wake up in the morning and your neck hurts, the last person in the world you would think to tell would be your dentist, right? Why would you ever tell your dentist that your neck hurts? And so I try to put that information out because in this country alone, there's more than 150 million people who think they're suffering with migraine headaches that are really headaches that are coming from clenching and grinding their teeth. From the TMJ is a joint right in front of your ear. It's what allows you to open and close your mouth. And many people have TMJ problems. And so that's the kind of thing that you have to mention to your dentist if you're waking up in the morning with your neck hurting. As far as your mom with more overbite, when you get more overbite, it means that your teeth are moving And the only way that could happen is if something is putting pressure on them. And she may be doing a habit with her tongue because of the stress, and that would push her teeth forward, but it wouldn't be the mask.
Now, how do you stop doing these habits?
It's very hard.
It could be
There's
a
an
jaw
appliance.
thing?
Well, she could get an appliance that'll keep her tongue from touching her teeth. A dentist has to make it for you.
Now, could it be a jaw thing where she like something?
Yeah, she could be grinding her teeth, and that also will make your teeth move. So it has to be diagnosed by her dentist, and she should go and have it checked out. You hear that, guys? So if you're waking up in the morning and your neck hurts and you feel tight in your shoulders, you know, it could be from your jaw. The muscles from the jaw actually attach in your shoulders. They attach in your temporal region, and they attach behind your head in the occipital region.
Wow, you're so smart.
Yeah, so, well, I went to school a lot of years to learn all those things, yeah.
But you guys, you gotta go look at Jeffrey's TikToks. You gotta make sure you follow him. He's in the link up there. You gotta see the first video on his YouTube channel, I'm in it, and the first video on my channel, Jeffrey wrote it. So
Besame Mucho.
Yes.
Hottest girl in the world. You gotta check it out. It's on Lauren's channel. I Want My Lauren. So I don't know if you even have room for any more followers. With 2 million followers, you have to expand the platform.
We have Jeffrey had this amazing idea where I am going to go downstairs in a bikini, and I guess
She's gonna walk into my building in the heart of Manhattan in a bikini, raising money for the IBF, the International Bikini Fund, to provide bikinis for women who can't afford them. Women in other countries, in third world countries, who can't afford bikinis.
Yes.
That's the kind of good nature she has.
Just giving women everywhere bikinis.
A big heart. She's got a wonderful heart.
Yes.
And it's so great to have her here.
Thank you. Somebody said wonderful hairdo.
Yes, thank you. I think he's referring to you. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, guys.
This was so fun. Thank you for checking in and staying with us. Yeah, come follow me, Jeffrey Gurian. Don't follow me home, but follow me online. That'll be good. Okay. See you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.